So please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Wilfred Arnold. Okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic.
That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog.
How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can
first.
you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile. Smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I got
when
to
it's
try
time,
this
when,
with
it,
you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smizing.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Dogs are loud today.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yo. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are all doing well out there, having a terrific Tuesday. It is Tuesday morning. Okay, hopefully you guys are enjoying your time, having a good one, having a nice, beautiful, positive one and everything. You know what I'm saying? I got to be honest. Sorry for the little bit of delay. We've been still dealing with a bunch of stuff. If you don't know already, my background's a little bit different. You might wonder why. Because I'm in Miami, y'all. It is officially time to let you guys know that I am in Miami. I am doing the damn thing here for the foreseeable future. And I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a really, really great time. There's a lot of stuff that I have planned to bring into the show. A lot of people that are going to be flying in, a lot of people that are already here in Miami that are going to be a part of the show, etc. And I'm really looking forward to it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, today is our first pancake of a show here in the new location. And like I said, we're still working out a lot of technical kinks because, like I said, I just moved here. You know, I took everything, all of my stuff, or at least as much of the stuff I could bring that I could pack into the back of my car and got here. You know what I'm saying? So we are here. We are here in one piece, and I appreciate you all for being so understanding and so patient with this whole thing. Because it has been quite a crazy time. You know, past 48 hours have been insane. You know what I'm saying? So, as you can see underneath the feed right now, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about, and there's a lot of things that I'm still trying to figure out myself. No, I have not moved here permanently. I just want to make that abundantly clear. This is more like a workcation. You know, I came down here to do some stuff, cover some things, and take some time off, enjoy the beach, enjoy the Miami atmosphere and all that. And and just have a good old grand old time. You know what I'm saying? And also just get some interviews, get some conversations going and all that. You know, the setup that I have right now is going to be temporary. It is only temporary. I'm looking forward to bringing in and talking about a bunch of people. You know, I'm interested, and I'm looking forward to having different settings, different backgrounds, not only just my living room. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming up over the time that we're here. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm super excited about it. But before, you know, we jump all the way into everything, you know what I'm saying? You know, of course, I got my fellas in the house. They're with me today. We got T and David in the house. What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling?
Pretty good out here. It's a good day. Guess it's starting to get sunny again. I don't know if you knew it, but I mentioned to people in Discord the other day, we had a fire that pretty much made the sky full of smoke for about 2 days. So it just disappeared this morning, which I'm pretty happy with, because smoke always makes me lazy and tired.
I feel you, man. I feel you. This heat is something else, man. This heat is something else. I'll tell you that. T, what's good, man? What's up with you, man?
What's up? I'm just laughing at David. Smoke makes me lazy and tired, so yeah, that's a hint.
Right.
I got it, man. Yeah. But I'm all good over here. The weather has changed, so it's not as hot today as it was earlier this week. But I'm looking forward to having a good week and hopefully seeing you down in Miami soon.
Yeah, man. Well, I was hoping I was going to do that as a big surprise, like you just showing up and everything. But F it.
I didn't say when.
So soon you will be seeing T in the same room as me, which is going to be very, very exciting. So I'm super excited about T coming through and sitting down and chopping it up with me. I'm still trying to get David down here. You know, we're trying to see if we can make that happen. We've been pushing him to see what we can do and all that, but I know he's got other prior engagements and stuff that he has to take care of as well. But hopefully he can come down and hang out and be a part of the show in person. You know what I mean? I'm super excited about it. You know, regardless, it's gonna be regardless if it's not here in Miami, it'll be soon. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, no pressure. You know, but yes, you'll be on with me. T and I will be in the same room at the same damn time. It's going to be fun. It's going to be educational, inspirational. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, y'all, I'm glad everybody's doing well. I'm glad everybody's still alive. I'm glad everybody's kicking ass and taking names, as you always should be. Why? Because you guys are all amazing. You know what I'm saying? And every day above this earth is a blessing. Do not forget that. You know what I'm saying? Do not forget that. All right. So, of course, we got to jump into some of the news stories of the day because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I've been, you know, completely detached from the world, as far as like when you don't have internet, there's only so much you can do. Right. So then suddenly you get internet, and then suddenly all of a sudden you find out all kinds of crazy ish is going down. Now, I wanted to jump into the one of the main stories that's popping off right now, which is the protests that are going in Cuba right now, in Cuba. And also in Miami. There are protests that are happening in Miami as well. And I'm wondering what the heck is going on. One thing that's really great is David's had his finger on the pulse of what's going on over here. I'm going to throw it over to David. David, what's going on over here with these protests in Cuba, and why are there protests going on in Cuba?
All right. So the main protest started on Sunday, which was it was also shared by Cubans and Americans in Miami, Florida, at the same time. So basically what happened is about 60,000 people, at least 60,000 in the U.S. and an unknown amount in Cuba, pretty much rose up in demonstrations on Sunday due to problems that they've been having within Cuba for quite a while now. It looks like that, at least within Cuba, most of the people that took part of it were younger people, and that they had to shut down most of the streets for it. But according to the people there, the main push of the protest is in Cuba is over food shortages and long queues for supplies. Sounds like there's a lot of shortages going on there right now, and it's in its worst economic crisis in decades. It also, obviously, it's dealing with the sickness as well, so that exacerbates all the problems that they're already having. And if you may remember that Trump reenacted some of the old sanctions against Cuba, which had been lifted during, I believe, Obama, if I remember correctly. And so now what we're seeing is that the acting assistant secretary for Biden administration said that peaceful protests are growing in Cuba as the Cuban people exercise their right to peaceful assembly, to express concerns, medicine shortages. We commend the numerous efforts of Cuban people mobilizing donations to help neighbors in need. And that's largely what the protest on Friday was about, Sunday in the Florida was about. The protest in Florida was solely to support the Cuban protest. So that's generally what the gathering in Miami was over, was just giving moral support to Cuba. However, the demonstrations in the U.S. ended on Sunday, and they're still continuing within Cuba itself by Native people. And one of the issues they had with the protest was on Sunday, the Sunday protest, the initial one. About 2.5 hours into the march, protesters began to rip up stones from the street and throw them from the police. Associated Press had a journalist there and counted that 20 people were taken away in police cars or by individuals in civilian clothes. They don't know who those individuals are, but it's presumed to be some sort of secret police or intelligence agency within Cuba. And so, according to Reverend Jorge Luis Gil, a Roman Catholic priest, said while he was in Havana that the people came out to express themselves freely, and they are repressing and beating them, he says, speaking of the police. About 300 people close to the government arrived with a large Cuban flag, shouting slogans in favor of late President Fidel Castro. And however, the majority of them were there protesting food and medicine shortages across the country. And so the NPR interviewed one person, Cuban in Miami, Diaz Canel. He says that if the outbreaks had not existed all over the world, the Cuban-American mafia, paying very well in social networks to influencers and YouTubers, has created a whole campaign and has called for demonstrations across the country. And what we are seeing is that this is being driven largely, at least organized largely by social media. The drive, of course, comes from the years of issues they've had, because some of these issues aren't new. They've just become much, much worse over the past year. Both because of, past 2 years, both because of Trump's additional restrictions on Cuba and because of just the downward trend that they were already in. So everyone is mostly organizing on social media, which Cuba doesn't have control of like they do some of the media. And there seems to be one song in particular, Patria y Vida, which is just Fatherland and Life, I think, has been... it was released earlier in this year, and this is the one that's been played. It's been played at actually most of the protests, including in the U.S. protest in Miami. It was played, and it's been played at all the protests for the past 3 days in Cuba, which are expected to continue on throughout the week, at least until they have some sort of resolution.
Mm-hmm. You want to hear are we going to listen to the track?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, let's play a few seconds of it. Of course, we can't play all of it because the YouTubes and everything, but let's play a little bit of this song, just a tiny bit. Oh. Well, as you can see, check it out. When you get a chance, take a listen to the song. We can't play all of it, unfortunately, because there's rules. Unfortunately, but take a look at it, take a listen to it when you get a chance. You know what I'm saying? Continue, David. I'm sorry.
And so some of the singers from the band or I guess rappers or whatever, pretty much they came out with an interview as well. They're kind of considered I guess, kind of an activist band that is like focused on this. And generally, so the song title, Patria e Vida, which is Fatherland and Life, is a play on the old communist regime, a slogan of Patria o Muerte, or homeland or death. So this is a play on like pretty much the old communist issues there, which is what most of the protests are about. And this band is strictly speaking, in terms of Cuba, is anti-communist for the most part. One of the singers, Romero, said that before the revolution, we had a beautiful Havana. Now we have ruins. From that point on, I said, I'm not going to be quiet anymore. And one of the other singers said that basically the government is in debt and has no money, and that the population has been enduring severe scarcities in food and medicine of all kinds for a long time now. And even if the government maintains control, Cubans now see that if they do enough, that people will come out and protest. So the genie is out of the bottle, and the frustration is not going anywhere. Cuba itself, the government, is blaming the U.S. and the state-run Communist Party newspaper, Granma, I guess, blames the protest on annexationist interest paid and directed by the United States, which basically they're saying United States wants to take full control of Cuba. However, Biden said that, Biden kind of agrees with the protesters, unsurprisingly here. He said that he strongly supports them. He goes on to say that during a White House event that happened yesterday, the Cuban people are demanding their freedom from an authoritarian regime. I don't think we've seen anything like these protests in a long, long time, if quite frankly ever. He goes on to add, the U.S. stands firmly with the people of Cuba as they assert their universal rights, and we call on the government of Cuba to refrain from violence in their attempt to silence the voices of the people of Cuba. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Like I said, there's probably going to be more protests today. There were already some that were supposed to be happening probably by now. We were getting ready for the show, so I haven't been able to keep up for it, but the protest should have started by today, and they will probably continue on throughout the week, like I mentioned, until they get some sort of statement from the government or some sort of order is reinstated. For the most part, the protesters seem to, they do partially blame America in the past, but they also seem to be hoping and expecting aid from America, whereas obviously the communist government is blaming it on us and wants us to have absolutely nothing to do with the protests.
It's sad. Well, obviously, when it comes to the protests and all that, I mean, the people want to be heard. They're not happy about what's going on, obviously, and I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of protesting going on in the islands right now, in general. So it's just weird. It's very interesting that there is upheaval going on in Cuba. There's upheaval going on in Haiti, which is a complete cluster F. Let's keep it straight funky. It's pretty wild that this is all happening kind of at the same damn time, But T, what are your thoughts on this whole situation, man, with all this news with Cuba?
Yeah, well, I'm just catching up on the news with it. I know there is a crisis post-pandemic, post-COVID. And if you're not aware, Cuba has always been a country that has been communist. And unfortunately, the people have always been slighted. It's just seeing them continue to struggle, them in the streets chanting freedom, wanting to have a piece of the pie, wanting to be be able to be self-sufficient, which I think everybody would love to be self-sufficient, and having to rely on the government post-COVID without the proper medical, proper food, proper amenities. This to survive is tough. Their economy has been suffering. The USA has, I think, for the last 50 years or so, have been, banning American currency from being helpful to their economy. I know it opened up briefly, I believe, when when Obama was in office, but I think it's back to the way it was pre-Obama. So it's tough to see these people suffer. Now, I do know that Miami and Florida has been a respite for many Cubans over the past few decades. And I'm not quite sure what's happening now as far as immigration, legally or illegally, from Cuba to Florida. But it's tough to see this nation continue to suffer the way it is.
Yeah.
Post Castro, is still suffering.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because most people will sit here. There's a lot of people that will sit here and go, see, this is a perfect example of why, communism doesn't work, etc. They'll just be like, oh, this is why. See all the upheaval that's going on in Cuba. I just think, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's only that factor. I think it's just that it is a country that has been dealing with a lot of different types of issues for a very, very long time. And finally, everything's coming to a head again. Let's just say that because, we are going to be talking about Haiti a little bit later on. But I just find it very interesting that Haiti's got a very corrupt system as well. They are not a communist country. But they're dealing with upheaval over and over and over again. And it's all because of how corrupt the system is there. You see what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm pro-communism. I'm not. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not about what their political structure is. It's the people who run that country that are the problem. And what's going on here is clearly, in my mind, a sign of, hey, they just have a very corrupt government. And the people are angry. The people are not happy. If you're going to take food away from people's mouths, people are going to talk. People are going to say something, But what were you going to say, David?
I was going to say, I agree with you. I'm not pro-communist, but as with most governments, you can hardly say that the idea is here or there. Cuba's definitely a communist country. It does have some capitalist structures that are also responsible for causing problems. Pretty much anyone always going for the profit. And you compare it to the U.S., we call ourselves a free capitalist market, but that's not the case. It's actually highly, highly regulated with all kinds of laws and taxation to control it. So really, I think in this discussion, the whole communist versus capitalism thing doesn't necessarily play out very well. Like kind of what you were saying. So yeah, I don't necessarily think it's the market style that's the problem there. It is the corruption within the government, as it usually is.
Yeah.
I don't know that they would switch away from a communist government, but since they have this idea that it was better before then, they might, because we have to consider that Cuba became communist not because of elections. It came from mostly Russian aid to influence within the U.S. And after once the Cold War heated up, they no longer got that support from Russia, and they became isolated and left with old technology and with old means of managing food supplies and the like. And the U.S. would not allow them to recover from that because it's quite possible they would once again side with Russia against the U.S. So it has generally been the U.S. policy, out of fear of Cuba being a danger, to kind of suppress Cuba and kind of keep the people in the state that they're currently in.
Yeah. It's like I said, there's only so much they can do within the protesting. Hopefully it'll cause the officials, the elected officials and the powers that be to actually listen and do something about the issues that they have going on inside of Cuba. But the thing is that what they have to do right now more than anything is listen to the people, because it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get crazier. And also, I'm going to sit here and say this too. This is a weird theory, but in my mind, I'm going, okay, Cuba is not very far away from Haiti. Something happened in Haiti, and all of a sudden, protests happen in Cuba. What do you think is possibly happening? My theory is this. You got a president that was assassinated, straight up murked, okay, in Haiti. Okay, Moise, no longer here. And it was a successful attack, right? It was a successful attempt on a president's life, right? The people, most of the people in Haiti were very upset on how corrupt he was becoming. Then Cuba sees this, and of course, maybe it lights a fire under people's asses, being like, wait, what just happened in Haiti? Majority of people did not want President Jovenel Moïse in office, and now he's not there anymore. What if it was that light, that match that lit the fire under all of those Cubans' asses, that made them say, you know what? We need our voices to be heard too. F all this. We deserve to be heard too. That could very well be it. That could very well be it. I mean, that's just my own particular theory. That's my own personal theory. But at the same time, something like this happens, then all of a sudden there's unrest going on another island or so away. It just seems a little strange to me, in my personal opinion. So, hopefully, the government officials, the elected officials, the powers that be in Cuba actually start listening to the people. Because last thing I would like to see happen, last thing I would want to see is people getting hurt. You see what I'm saying? Now, 0000 just said important reports of troops from Venezuela moving into Cuba. I don't know if that's entirely true or not. Maybe David could do a type little Google search on that really quick. But if that is true, this is the last thing I would want to see happen in Cuba. Because, of course, if there's that kind of upheaval that's going on, that means we lose innocent lives. That means that there's violence in the streets. And that's innocent people dying because they just want their voices heard. You hear anything? You see anything in there, David?
I don't see anything about troop movements, but yesterday there was an article released that they may deal with forces within this because basically Venezuela is afraid that what's happening in Cuba could happen in Venezuela as well. I don't see any troops that have already been moved there, but they have been arresting people within Venezuela that have ties to Cuba. Specifically with the Cuban revolution that's going on, or if you want to call it a revolution, or the protests that are going on right now. I think they want it to be a revolution. It's just not at that point yet.
Not yet.
So Venezuelan security forces are surrounding the houses of some of those supporters, and it writes that one of the local papers says that with unprecedented mass protests in Cuba perceived by both Havana and Caracas Caracas as an attack on orchestrated by Washington, it seems likely that the momentum toward slightly freer elections and negotiations with the opposition in Venezuela may stall. Rather deliberately or not, Monday's events in Venezuela, which was arresting those Cuban sympathizers and people of the same night, was considered a negative message and the technical mission from Europe that is supposed to be a more open area. They're supposed to be opening up more elections soon, and they're kind of halting that because of what happened on Monday, which was the Venezuelan response to the Cuban Revolution. So it's possible they will send something there, but if they have sent troops, it's not in the news yet. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're only going to hear more and more as time goes. I mean, obviously this whole protest is still very, very brand new. It's still, well, you know what I'm saying. The people there has been unrest in Cuba for a very long time, but now they are actually coming together and talking and protesting and, shouting their demands in the streets now. One thing I did that I don't think we did say that I found very interesting, and 0000 just pointed out, 100% power and internet 100% power and internet has been taken away from the people. I forgot to throw out that too, or to mention that too. They took away the internet from the Cuban people. I didn't know anything about the power, but that's very interesting too. That they just turned everything off. They just shut off Wi-Fi and shut off power to the people of Cuba because they're trying to control the powers that be. They're trying to control the people that are trying to get their voices heard. David.
And I will point out that Venezuela is a strong ally of the communist Cuban government. They currently have, or at least they did have, I don't know if it's still operating, they had deals to send oil to the government as well as other supplies. And the Venezuelan government is friendly to the Cuban government, and they kind of want each other to continue their path. Because Venezuela is, I don't know if you call it communist, but it's like a very socialist country. I mean, it's got its corruptions too, so it's not really played out like it's supposed to be, you know? But when it comes down to it, Venezuela is not a U.S. ally, and they are a Cuban ally. So it does make sense that they would support the government. I would not be surprised if they have intelligence, or like if they have agents there, or like intelligence officers helping to push back against the protest. I would be surprised if they send the military, at least in military clothing. I would not be surprised if they're sneaking people in plain clothes, like, you know, those people that were arresting people in Cuba who were in plain clothes and these SUVs that no one knew who they were rounding up people. Those were probably Cubans rounding up other people, but that's exactly the kind of thing like Venezuelans could push in and aid the government with.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to remember, Cuba is not. Let's just be real. America is pretty damn corrupt. Let's be real, okay? It's corrupt. We can all agree on that, okay? There's a lot of things that America needs work on, but and there are stories that we have covered on this channel multiple times of unmarked cars just driving up and just picking up random protesters just because they can, or plainclothed cops picking up random people that are out in the streets protesting, etc. So I'm not surprised if Cuba is doing the same thing. I'm not surprised at all. In fact, I expect that. I expect it to be even more suspicious and random, where we see more and more people just randomly just disappearing, not knowing where they went, not knowing why they left, but they ain't here no more. So I'm not surprised about that. I do have a comment from the Pioneer. It says, Pascal, don't believe much of the propaganda being said about what's going on in Cuba. Some of these corporatists in the U.S. lie on Cuba a lot. And that's very true. That is very true. You got a point there. Because we were talking about it. It's funny because, you know, I was going to play a clip from yesterday from the TV show, the Today Show, right? And in that particular one, they're sitting there saying that they're angry about not only about, you know, the things that David has listed, but also on top of that, they're upset about the pokes. I'm just going to use that. They're upset about the pokes, the pineapple blasts, okay? They're very upset about that. Only to find out, David said it to us this morning, that is a lie, that is not even true, that they're not upset. They're not protesting about that. They're protesting about everything else except that. But they're throwing that out there, saying that somehow Cuba's holding back on pokes so that people aren't up to date, etc. during this time of a pandemic. They weren't accurate with that at all either. Apparently, CNN took down a article. This is from David told us this morning. Took down an article saying that in the article. And that was taken down because that was not true. But David, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the reason that's kind of the case is that Cuba is not importing any of the shots. They're making their own. It's called, what is it called? I don't remember what their specific version is called, but they have their own. Oh, it's Abdallah is their shot. So Abdallah is the Cuban Venezuelan specific shot that only they have, and it's the only one they're using, and it was co-developed between the two countries. Some people in Venezuela, or doctors in Venezuela, warned out against it, but like in most countries, they got silenced, and then the shot started going out anyway. So they do have their own shots. Don't know how they're doing. We don't have any studies outside of the country, and I don't know. So there's not really a great way for me to look at it and say if it's effective or not, but they do have their own, and they have been distributing it for quite a while now. and they say it's highly effective, and they say that a large majority of people in Cuba have already received said shot.
Yes. So it's just funny how they're sitting there saying, "Oh, they're protesting because they're holding back on the poke," and they ain't. So, like I said, as much of the information we have, that's all we have so far. But we are, of course, if we find out more information, I'm even trying to find out if I can speak to some people out here because there have been protests and demonstrations here in Miami as well. I'm trying to see if I can make something like that happen too, where I can chop it up with some people who are protesting, and so we can have a real conversation and see what the hell's going on, real talk, in their own specific personal opinion of it all. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot going on, and it's crazy that I'm right here in Miami right now, especially with the craziness that's going on in Haiti, the craziness that's going on in Cuba. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and actually talking to some people out here and just covering these stories, see what's really going on, what the people are really saying, Cut out all the what mainstream media is saying. Let's find out what they what the people really want, Let's hear the truth, right? But anyway, we got to jump into the next story, of course. David, great coverage on that. Thank you so much, man. Like I said, I miss this stuff. I missed y'all. I'm gonna be real. I didn't miss them. I didn't miss the guys. I missed you guys. Okay, it's nice to be back on and chopping it up. I'm lying. I miss you guys too. Come on now. I miss David and T. Come on. Yeah, they ugly, but they good people. You know what I'm saying?
I love you too.
Wait. You guys aren't even on the screen. I gotta put you guys back on. Hold up. Say that again so that everybody can hear you guys say it again.
We love you too.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Yes.
We're the step kids, David.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's funny because he's redheaded. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's the redheaded step kid. So y'all the redheaded step kids. You feel me? I'm kidding. I love you guys too. It's great to be back on. It's weird being here. I'm not gonna lie. It's really, really weird having this as a background. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. It's weird. It's weird, but at the same time, I'm having a good time. It's beautiful. Oh, it's funny because I've been here for, let's say, how long? I've been here for 48 hours. 48 hours, okay? And by the way, I ain't seen the beach yet. That's how much I've been working on setting everything up, getting everything running. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, it's been pretty crazy over here. Just getting everything set up and all that. But I do miss the purple lights and the what have yous and whatnots and all that. You know what I'm saying? I miss all the bells and whistles. But of course, it's always nice to be back into the groove of things. Now we got to jump into this next story, and I'll probably give you guys a little bit of a tiny tour. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you guys to see. I want you guys to see back outside. I really do want you guys to see outside. Real talk. It's pretty damn nice. But I'll do that here in a second, of course. Now, we got to go into this next story because this next story is pretty crazy. And I know I say that all the time, but this one, I ain't never seen anything like this before. I don't think any of y'all have seen anything like this before either. Now, we all know, okay, right now, there have been a crazy amount of stuff. There's been a crazy amount of stuff going on when it comes to going on airlines or going into airplanes. Let me be real with you. As you already know, if you are a fan of the show or if you are a family member, whatever, you know for a fact that I'm not the biggest fan of flying. I hate flying. It irks my soul, okay? But as of recently, there has been a crazy amount of people just having mental health issues on planes to the point where they will run and try to open up the door, right? Try to open up the door of the plane whilst the plane is flying or whilst the plane is about to take off, et cetera, okay? So this particular story is pretty crazy to me because, as you know, there's been a lot of stories popping off just like this, but this one is a little bit different. Take a look at this. So it says, video shows woman duct taped to seat after trying to open an airplane door. Like I said, this is not, what she did is not a surprise because it's been happening a lot. All right. So let's get into this story here really, really quick. Okay. An apparently unhinged woman was duct taped to an airplane seat last week after she allegedly attacked the flight crew and tried to open the door of the aircraft in mid-flight. Video posted on social media shows the gray-haired woman with silver duct tape over her mouth and her arms and body, seemingly taped to the seat. Now, obviously, my face or my video is covering it, but as you can see right there, I mean, we're going to see the video, too. Don't worry, y'all. You're going to see the beautiful bean footage here in a second. But you can see for yourself in this still, this woman is full on bound and gagged. No lie. Okay? So she could be heard screaming, you, as passengers exit American Airlines flight 1774 past her, as flight attendants calmly nodded their goodbyes, according to the footage posted by a TikTok user. The 2-hour July 6th flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to Charlotte, North Carolina, had been delayed for at least 3 hours before finally departing at midnight. But about an hour into the trip, chaos broke out. This is what the TikToker said, okay, in these videos describing the horrific scene. Flight attendants began turning on lights around 1:30 a.m. She said, the TikToker said, and we see all flight attendants running up and down the aisles, frantically kind of like whispering to each other. The plane's crew began locking bathrooms, grabbing bags from overhead bins, and wouldn't say what was happening, the TikToker said. It was just kind of like chaos, and no one knows what's going on, she continued. Finally, the pilot spoke over the intercom, asking people to stay in their seats and referencing a bad situation in the plane right now, according to the passenger. Then we're gradually starting to hear more and more screaming. We're like, wait a minute, she noted. Just as the plane is about to land, a flight attendant who sat near them explained that a woman with an apparent mental issue had an outburst and had the urge to get off the plane. And she was saying, I need to get off this plane. And she went up to the exits and started banging on the doors. You need to let me off this plane. I guess it took all 5 flight attendants to subdue her and literally take her down. So take her down. So they pretty much took her down and put her in the seat and duct taped her. American Airlines confirmed the incident, telling the Post, the woman assaulted and bit a flight attendant after she attempted to open the forward boarding door and was restrained for safety and security of other customers and our crew. Emergency personnel met the flight on the ground in Charlotte. So they landed safely and took the woman to a local hospital, said the airline, who placed her on American's internal no-fly list pending an investigation. Now, we, of course, have got to take a look at this video because this is the full-on video, y'all. I mean, it's very, very short, but you can see this woman bound and gagged straight up to her seat. Let's take a look.
Have a good one. Thank you. You.
There she is.
People. You are people. Have a good one.
Bruh.
I don't think so.
paramedics. So there it is, y'all. As you can see, in full Technicolor, all right? The woman was full on duct taped to the seat. She was clearly hands behind her back, so they must have put zip ties on her or maybe duct taped her wrists together, and they duct taped her mouth. Duct tape to the airplane seat. Okay, so now there are a lot of people who are sitting here. There's been a lot of debate, okay, going on in social media. A lot of people are feeling some type of way about this particular scene that we just saw, which is this woman full on duct taped and duct taped to a chair and bound like she was in some espionage movie, okay? Or, she's the damsel in distress type situation. Some people are very upset about it because they feel like that this was not okay. There's a lot of people that are not okay with this particular scene that we're seeing, but there's a lot of other people that are okay with the scene that we just saw just a second ago of this lady. Now, of course, I'm going to open it up to the fellas because I want to hear their thoughts on this, but I'm going to say this. For one who doesn't like to fly very much, okay, because I've had some really bad experiences midair, and had nothing to do with disgruntled passengers or anything of that sort. It's just been really bad flights, just continuously really, really bad flights. So when it comes to this kind of situation, and given the fact that there has been a spike recently of people running around, sprinting for the front door, of the plane, trying to open up the plane mid-flight, etc. The more I see things like this, the more I'm okay with this. The only reason why I say this is because, all right, there's a lot of things that you got to put into consideration. One, this woman's having a mental break. Two, she was basically barreling towards the front door of the plane. Three, she was running there and also biting flight attendants as they were trying to subdue her, as they were trying to detain her and stop her from losing her mind. Okay? I've seen so many other stories like this. I've just never seen somebody being duct taped to their chair. I've seen people handcuffed or zip tied. I've seen them hog tied. You see them all in these videos. Real talk. Hog tied, or you see people like not only just the flight attendants, but you also have like passengers, other passengers sitting on top of them to make sure that they don't move as the plane finally lands to safety. So when I see things like this, when I see a story like this, I go, okay, there had to have been a reason why they gagged her. They duct taped her and gagged her. There was no way of controlling her, right? There was no way of keeping her safe and keeping everybody else safe without them having to go to desperate measures. If she's biting people, if she's going after the door, trying to open up the door because she wants to get out of the plane as quickly as possible, you do what you need to do. I'm sorry. It's not only her safety, it's also everybody else's too. You realize as soon as she opened up that door, it's a wrap, son. It's a wrap. So, of course, I want to throw it over to the guys. I also do want to say this, though, too, before I throw it to the fellas and we do our little round table talk here. Maybe this is the reason why there needs to be some sort of person that works in mental health, like I'm losing the word or the name of a person, the job title, but someone who works in that field. Maybe that, because we're seeing more and more of these stories popping off like crazy. Like I said, people are unhinged. There's a lot of mental health problems going on, especially given the fact that we've been dealing with this panty for a while now. So there's a lot of people that feel some type of way. Social worker T-Mac 034, thank you so much. Having apparently they have a air marshal, undercover air marshal on every single flight, allegedly. You see what I'm saying? A social worker would have been great, or a mental health counselor, undercover, let's just say, that's on the plane. I know that's an extra body, that's another person on the plane, but at the same time, there's maybe that person would have been able to find a different way to stop that woman from doing what she did. I feel like those flight attendants had no other choice but do what they had to do. At the end of the day, you want to get from point A to point B in one piece and one piece only, not splayed all over the country, all over some interstate, and then it's a tragic story of, flight 799, 79 passengers all dead, whatever. We don't want those stories. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like desperate times call for desperate measures with this situation. They should look into bringing some sort of social worker or a mental health counselor and implement those into every single flight. And I think that these issues or a scene like this could have been handled differently. Fellas, what are your thoughts on this? I'm going to throw it over to T. What are your thoughts on this, man?
It's another case of somebody having a panic attack or some kind of, mental crises at the wrong time.
No doubt.
For them to be on a mid-air flight, all the flight attendants and crew, they're trained for safety first. So their first instinct is to get the passenger, in a location or a place where they're not harming anybody on that flight. So they had limited options there. So my guess was maybe it wasn't in their protocol or procedure to duct tape anybody, but in this situation, they figured that was the only option, was to secure her and also her mouth, because she was biting people. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge health concern. And I think most flights are still requiring you to wear a mask. So with all these different things happening, they had no other choice but to secure her in a way where she was restricted from hurting anyone else, including herself.
Yeah. David?
I mostly just agree with this. I don't think they had a whole lot of options here, even if they did have a marshal, because it kind of seems like she's actually just so afraid she kind of went crazy. I don't know what caused it to kind of spike right at that moment. Maybe there's some sort of turbulence or something, or somebody said something, but whatever it was, it set her off, and she was going to go through that door no matter what, if they didn't stop her. And if she was just under a handcuff and she's that afraid, she would probably rip her skin off just getting away quickly enough. So I do think the duct tape is probably the best bet in this option. Social workers would help for sure, but I don't think they can. In this instance, they wouldn't have been able to stop the main attack. They would have just been able to calm her afterward, from what it looks like anyway.
Yeah.
It could help, but I don't think it necessarily always would. If she got to that door, there would have been rapid decompression. She would have flown out, as well as anyone standing near her, probably. They would have had to drop several thousand feet so people wouldn't suffocate. It would have been a bad experience for everyone, obviously. But I think that was their best option. Maybe they should have some sort of better restraints prepared ahead of time. But given the fact they probably didn't have this, the duct tape was probably the best bet.
I think that when it comes to this particular situation, you have no other choice, y'all. Like, there's no other choice. I just saw Shay the Potato just said, I'm kidding. Hey, Shay. Funny prank. Whoever did that is funny. But when it comes to, she just said they need to sell on airplanes. I would hope it would never go to that place. I would hope they would never get to that particular situation. But at the same time, the way that we're seeing mental health issues happening on planes, I don't know. It's so crazy how much it has spiked as far as the violence that has been going on planes. Not only just because of mental issues, not only just because of mental health issues, but also because People are just angry because they don't want to wear a damn mask. You got people who are fighting and arguing with each other because they don't want to wear a damn mask. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I still got a video, man. I hadn't even gotten a chance to do that one yet. But there was even on the ground, even at the terminals, there are people who are losing their damn minds because they're upset because they don't get to wear a mask or they have to wear a mask. I just did a story just the other day about 30 some odd teenagers refusing to wear a mask on a plane, that so much that they had to cancel the flight and do another flight the next day, all because people are having issues with wearing a mask. So the issue of mental health is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many people that are losing their damn minds, and they don't have mental health issues. They're just angry, revved up, amped for whatever reason that they are. Whatever it is that's going to get them flying off the hinges is making them do so. So I do really think that there needs to be, I feel like this is a teachable moment for American Airlines and for all airlines to look at what they have, look at the resources that they do have, look at the resources that they don't have. They need to start implementing a program, I think, at least, for these flight attendants, so that these flight attendants know how to not only protect themselves, but they know how to protect the passengers that are on the planes as well. I do feel like that's the world that we are walking into now, that there is violence and chaos going on in the air. It's never been like that before, but it's getting worse. And there needs to be acknowledgement of this. We need to look into it, and we need to see what the hell we need to do so that everyone gets to their final destination in one piece. One thing Redman P11 said, mental health in the aftermath, but in midair, hell no. She deserves all that. I agree. I couldn't agree more. I think she most definitely deserved exactly what she was given because of everything that was being displayed. She put everything on the table. These flight attendants are not security. They're there to make sure that your flight is a comfortable one, and that's it. Of course, they're there to escort you when things go awry on the plane, but as far as violence on the plane, that's a whole nother can of worms. And I think that this, for all airlines and all the other incidents that have popped off recently, real talk, they need to look into this even more and see what they can do about implementing safety and protection when it comes to things like this happening. And they should bring in a social worker for sure, or some counselor that specializes in mental health. And I think that would help even more for sure. But anyway, we got to jump into the next story. Now, we have a little bit of news with Haiti. This is our final story, our last story of the day. We definitely got to talk about this. There's some other stuff that's been going on in Haiti in regards to the assassination of President Moise. T has the story here. T, what is going on, bruh?
Yeah, so there are several stories going around right now. Some mentioning that the president was tortured before he was killed. Some mentioning that assassins were affiliated with the DEA. Other stories with Haitian people trying to ask Biden to open the borders to let them come here. There's a lot going on right now in Haiti. But the current article speaks of several suspects in Haiti assassination were FBI and DEA informants, claimed by a friend of a hit squad that they were backed by Washington to save the country from hell. Several suspects involved in the assassination were previously U.S. informants. Joseph Vincent, 55, was identified as a former occasional source for the DEA. he was the Haitian American. DEA refused to name the other person, but admitted one of them arrested was also a source. Others have previously worked for or as informants for the FBI. Has also emerged. Associates of the alleged mastermind claim the plot was supported by Washington. Authorities arrested 2 Haitian American men, Vincent and another one named James Salagas, who was 35 years old. They have both been charged with the assassination of the Haitian president, Jovenel Moise. Several suspects arrested on suspicion of taking part in the assassination of Haitian president last week were previously U.S. informants. The official who spoke on condition of anonymity claimed to name the informant, but he was also identified as Joseph Gertond Vincent by the Miami Herald. The other informants claimed to be FBI CIs. Let's see. Haitian authorities last week arrested Sinon Vincent and a fellow Haitian American, James Salagas, 35. They were both charged with joining 26 Colombians in the fatal attack of the Haitian president. There's also video as well of Haitians who have passports in hand, who are trying to bargain with President Joe Biden to let them come here for safety and asylum due to the unsafetyness of Haiti right now. The Haitian citizens are claiming that no one is safe there, not even the president, which is a fact.
It's crazy. The more and more we hear stories about what's going on in Haiti, it's just so. There's something new. There's always something new. There's always something else going on. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like I said, I feel like we're not going to get the full scope of the truth right off the bat. I feel like there's so much going on that there's still so much to do. You see what I'm saying? Like there's still so much to do and to cover when it comes to what's going on in Haiti. I mean, we just don't know who and what and where this is all coming from. Where is this all sprouting from? You see what I'm saying? There's also, a head gang leader, a notoriously known gang leader in Haiti. He goes by Barbecue. Real talk. He has been sitting here going, hey, we're going to go and we are going to get down to the bottom of this to find out who did this assassination. I mean, there's just so much going on. And there's like I said, informants of DEAs, et cetera. I mean, this is just, like I said, so crazy to me. So crazy. David, what are your thoughts on this?
I agree. It's I don't think we're really going to figure out what's happening here for a long time, if ever. There's just so many forces at work in Haiti right now. Yeah. There's really no way of knowing exactly what's going down, I don't think. It's just because, like, I mentioned this before, and you can look this up online. I'm not telling you anything secret, but the way these intelligence operations work is they usually send an officer, and then they recruit, like 50 local people. Like, so that it doesn't necessarily mean because we have Haitians and Americans in this that it was organized by Haitians and Americans. It's very possible that there was one agent there that just hired people from Florida and from Haiti to be involved in this, because they said that two of the Americans, I think, they said lived in Florida, and if I remember correctly anyway. So it's definitely possible that they were organizing this themselves. I just wouldn't think so. I do think that there's probably somebody who organized this. They did arrest somebody that they said was the organizer, though we don't know for sure. They haven't released very much about him yet. But unless Haiti itself manages to figure it out, I don't really think we will ever know what's really going down there. It's just because we don't know who's working for who, or like which counter group is working for who, or anything. So there's a lot of forces at play here, and there's a lot of governments at play too, because we've mentioned the deals they've had with other nations, as well as the deals they were having with the U.S. and everything, and their own internal problems. So, I mean, this very well could have been done by the U.S. This could have been done by Russia. It could have just been done by some guy in Haiti that didn't have any sort of training whatsoever. But I don't think we're going to really know. And even if they find out, I don't think Haiti will tell us, to be honest, because they don't want us to know who managed to exploit their entire system either.
Oh, absolutely. They're not going to want to show their weaknesses. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to want to show that stuff. I mean, you know, Haiti's already jacked up. You see what I'm saying? Why would you want to say, hey, guys, here's more problems with us. See how weak we are? Here, right here, this spot right there. See that there? Yeah, you can go right in there. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah, I'm good on that. I'm not for that. You see what I'm saying?
I'm wondering if there was a bounty put out on his head and several different groups tried to get the bounty first.
To try to get that ass?
Yeah, so it has to be. There's so many people out there, like you said, like David said, like
Facts.
who probably had an issue with him still being in power after all this time, and him leaning towards dictatorship. I wonder was somebody powerful behind the scenes put out a bounty or a hit to go, listen, whoever brings them back first gets the bounty. I wonder. If you think about it, there are mixed groups. You got Haitians, Colombians, and whoever else. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. And there's a lot of people out here that could use that money. You know, this past year and a half has been a tough one. You know, over a year and a half actually has been a tough one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure there's a lot of people out here that will just say, how much? Shoot. We can split it up like 7 ways. It's all good. That's enough money for all of us to eat, to get fat, to be rich. We can all eat at the table. We'll just split it up. Let's go. So, you know, the stories that are coming out, the information that's coming out is pretty crazy. You never know. It would have been wild if it's like whoever gets the kill shot gets the money. And then a bunch of dudes just say, whoa. You know, like a movie, like John Wick. I think it was like John Wick 2, I think, where like everybody is going after John Wick. They all get the alert on their phone, and they all just start going after him, and whoever ends up getting him gets the money, you know, some odd $7 million, however much they put on his head. And they said whoever gets John Wick gets the money. And then all these assassins came after him. There was 29, I think they found. Wasn't it something crazy like 29, 26? Something like that. 26.
Like 28
assassins that they, mercenaries that they found. I mean,
right.
What if you thought, like, somebody put it out on the black market and they all have access to this, and next thing you know, they're like, you know what I mean? They all go in like, yo, let's go and get this. Whoever gets it, whoever gets him gets the bonus. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? The possibilities are endless. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Lax Paint. Spoiler alert. If you're watching John Wick 2, that's kind of what happens at the end. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But now you know. You know, you're not missing much. There's a lot of ass kicking in that movie. It's awesome. Just watch it anyway. It's a great movie. But anyway, that is kind of crazy to think that would be a possibility. That all these guys are just independents and they just happen to working together in some random weird ass way. And that would have been wild if that was the case too. So I don't know. Like I said, there's so many different stories that are going on and so many things that are just popping off. You know, we're hearing one thing and then we're hearing something else, and then we're hearing another thing and then we're hearing something else. It's just it's very confusing and frustrating time for sure. But I feel like as time goes on, we'll find out more information. We might not know. We might not get everything. We might not get the full truth of everything, but we can at least get something, some semblance of a pieced together picture instead of just pieces of this puzzle. I'm sure we're going to get more as time goes on, you know? But that is the show today. I do appreciate everybody for coming on, but you know, one thing I wanted to do, I'm trying to see if that's even possible. Hold up. Maybe not today, but soon I will. I want to show you guys the outside and all that. It's really beautiful. It's a nice lake in right out on my porch and all that. It's really something else. And I would love to show you guys that, you know, something different instead of just like my home. You know, I'm in my purple box. You know what I'm saying? Just locked up in my purple box. But we will be. I will be showing you guys that here soon. I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? But wanted to say a big thank you to the fellas for being on today with me. I really do appreciate it. Y'all are really amazing. I appreciate you guys being so patient with me over the past couple days. It's been a long trip and a long setup, but it's nice to be back on. So T and D, thank you so much for being on today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a good show.
Yeah, man. It was short, but sweet. It's short-ish. Short-ish. You know what I'm saying? Short-ish. You know, I'm trying to stick with when I say that's going to be short, it's going to be short. Dagnabbit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying, man. I'm trying. But these stories are so big and there's so many things to talk about and so much to cover, man. We missed so much over the past weekend and yesterday. There's so much to talk about. Nerd, that's what she said. I'm done, Nerd. It's going to be short. That's what she said. But anyway, I appreciate everybody for being on. Hey, do me a favor. If you haven't done it yet, crush that like button down below. If you're new to the show, please crush that subscribe button. That would really mean a lot to me, okay? We work hard out here in these streets. And then, of course, hit that join button. I'm going to keep saying that until we get at least a couple more people hitting that join button. If you hit that join button, $4.99, that's less than $5 a month. That's less than Netflix or Hulu or Prime or whatever you got. Real talk. It helps fuel this show so we can keep giving you your stories, your news, your pop culture, and your controversies of the day. So please crush that join button. That would really, really mean a lot. I will not be on tonight. I'm still working some things out. Like I said, this background is just temporary. Where I am right now is only temporary. I'm working on, moving the show to another facility for the time during my time down here. So please, hopefully I know this ain't there ain't no purple lights and paintings and a teddy bear on over my left shoulder, but we are working hard out here to give you guys some stuff. All right. So yes, Chris CC said, Mr. Pascal Show, have a drink for me. I most definitely will. It will be Barbancourt. It will be Haitian rum. Trust and believe I will be having a drink or two. And I'm assuming T and I will be having some drinks when he gets into town. Let's keep it straight funky. Okay. Am I right, T, or no?
I'm already trying to figure out what I'm gonna bring down.
Yes. Oh, and Emily said, let's not get it straight. Let's not get it messed up. Let's not get it twisted. S-Mount, I am wearing my mask. Trust and believe, I'm not messing around. This new version is out here, okay? And it's out her, okay? Don't matter if you've been up to date or not. So y'all need to be safe out there too. So I'll say that to you, S-Mount. Wear your mask, girl. Okay? That's all I got to say. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys out there for being on again. Thank you for all y'all for being on and being here. Like, yeah, Dave is not wrong. There's other versions that are popping off lately. So y'all be safe out there. Enjoy your time at home. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be seeing you guys soon, okay? No show tonight, unfortunately. Like I said, I'm working on some stuff. I'm working on some stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing some stuff for you, okay? I'm doing some stuff for you. All right, so I will have some pop-ups, so tune in, okay? Now that everything's fully set up, okay? I was having some issues this morning with this dang thing, okay? Not the mic, but the actual stand. I was having some issues with it. That's why we started so damn late. I'm sorry about that, guys, and I appreciate all y'all's patience and all that. But there will be some pop-ups, so be on the lookout for those. We're going to be talking. All right? So, I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back. And I'm looking forward to this time in Miami. There's going to be some really great content coming around the bend here very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled. All right? It's time to get going. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. I love y'all. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
This is Michael with Wildlife Command Center. Let me tell you a little bit about Wildlife Command Center's extraordinary cash quest. There's $10,000 up for grabs. 12 of these boxes, with $100 in each one, are hidden around the St. Louis area. You find 10, you qualify for the $10,000 grand prize. You get to keep the $100. So, get out there and look and find the treasure in Wildlife Command Center's extraordinary cash quest.